One thing that you should never bet against in life is gamers. And gamers have been assembled and have been waging a full-scale attack at Visa and Mastercard, rightfully so, by the way, for bending the knee, not only Mastercard, but Stripe and PayPal as well, for bending the knee to censorship demands from Karens in another country. Now, to give you a short TLDR, you may have heard of Collective Shout. Collective Shout is a pointless loser organization full of weirdo feminists who went to Visa and MasterCard, had like kind of a phone bank campaign to get several games removed from Steam, which is the world's biggest video game outlet. This is the same place that said Cuties was a great movie. And here's the thing. Collective Shout is a bunch of dorks. And in fact, I'm pretty sure they have now privated their Twitter account as they have. They've now protected their Twitter account. This is a grassroots campaigning movement against the objectification of women in video games. Again, this is Temu feminist frequency. What they didn't know is that most gamers are still around from the original Gamergate mess. And this is the thing. Visa and MasterCard have bent the knee. Their stock has gone down because gamers' fury has been so great. Let's talk about this. By the way, if you're a PC gamer in the market for a new computer, promo code TheQuartering at metapcs.com. They hate censorship too. It's the only computer I use. And you save some money when you use my promo code. Link in the description. Visa and MasterCard are getting overwhelmed by gamer fury over censorship. Gamers are sending mass emails and phone calls to major payment processors in protest over Steam and itch.io. In wake of storefronts like Steam and itch.io curbing the sale of spicy games, irate fans have started an organized campaign against the payment processors that they believe are responsible for the crackdown. While the movement is still in the early stages, people are mobilizing with an eye towards overwhelming communication lines at companies like Visa and MasterCard in a way that will make the concern impossible to ignore. This is the attack vector most of these people have. Steam has a long and storied history of not removing even the most offensive games because they are, whether or not they offend you, a form of art. Whether or not I want to play these spicy type of games doesn't matter. I think they should be able to exist and you should be able to use your credit card to buy them. Social media, here you have in the wake of, on social media, sites like Reddit, Blue Sky, people are urging one another to get in contact with Visa and MasterCard. This is really happening on X. Reddit and Blue Sky are irrelevant. Through emails and phone calls, Visa and MasterCard have become targets of interest because of the affected storefronts. Both say their decisions around these spicy games were motivated by the danger of losing the ability to use major payment processors while selling games. These payment processors have their own rules regarding usage, but they are vaguely defined. Losing infrastructure like this could impact audiences well beyond those that care about spicy games, spokespeople for Valve and itch.io said. In a now deleted post on the Steam subreddit with over 17,000 upvotes, commenters say that customer service representatives for both payment processors seem to already be aware of the problem. Sometimes the representatives will say they've got multiple calls on the subject of these spicy game censorship, but they can't really do anything about it. The folks applying pressure know that someone at a call center has limited power in this scenario like this one. Typically, agents are equipped to handle standard customer service issues like payment fraud or credit card loss. But the point isn't to enact change through specific phone call. It's to cause enough disruption that ruckus theoretically starts costing payment processors money. Now, let me tell you this. I successfully led a campaign that did just this against Hasbro. Did you guys remember that? Do you know my deep lore? So when I got banned from Magic the Gathering, the world's most popular card game, it was for being basically a rude troll. All right. I was young and I was too aggressive and I was mean. Okay. Do I regret it? Yeah, I kind of do. I regret the way I went about it, not my criticisms. I should have been more pointed in my criticisms. They would have hit harder. They would have been more effective rather than just calling like a cosplayer a whore. That's not really as effective as pointing out the cosplayer to, paying for her OF account pipeline that I was really trying to criticize. But when I was banned, I hooked up with a guy, I think his name was Lou Calgiaveni, and we were able to reveal that there were almost more than a dozen registered offenders who were official Magic the Gathering judges. Magic the Gathering judges are people that are in positions of power. They run game stores where kids often hang out, without their parents. They run game tournaments where kids are around their parents. And because of my viewers, many of them are still here. We called Hasbro over and over and over again. We overwhelmed their call centers and forced them to enact background checks on their Magic the Gathering judges. It was a total and complete victory because Hasbro simply didn't have 100 agents taking phone calls. They had 10 or 20, and we just had their phones ringing all the time. So if you're somebody that doesn't think this methodology works, you're simply wrong. You can go back and look at my old videos talking about it. Like, we got Hasbro to bend the knee within like 2 or 3 days. Obviously, Visa and Mastercard are much bigger, but the point is it can work. Emails can be ignored, but very, very long call queue, making it near impossible for other clients to get help, will help a lot as well. Here's a top comment on the Reddit thread. In the thread, people say that they're hanging on to the call. Even the operator says they'll experience multi-hour wait times, presumably caused by similar calls gunking up the lines. Beyond the stubbornness factor, the tactic is motivated by the knowledge that most customer service systems will put people who opt for callbacks in a lower priority queue. Anyone who opts in likely doesn't have an emergency going on. Do both, one commenter suggests. Get the callback to come up the callback queue, then call in again and wait to come up the live queue. I 100% agree with this. 100% agree that this is an extremely effective tactic. People are also using email to voice their concerns directly to executives at both Visa and Mastercard. Payment processors that activist group Collective Shout called out by name in their open letter requesting that these spicy games get pulled. Emails are also getting sent to customer service in light of a coordinated effort. Many people are getting pre-written responses that read, thank you for reaching out. As a global company, we follow the laws and regulations everywhere we do business. While we explicitly prohibit illegal activity on our network, we are equally committed to protecting legal commerce. If a transaction is legal, our policy is to process the transaction. Well, that's not true. We do not make moral judgments on legal purchases made by consumers, but they do. They've also been used, payment processors have also been used to apply pressure to places like Patreon. Famously, this is maybe 5 or 10 years ago. If you've been around, you remember. There were several high-profile people that were banned from Patreon because they were considered alt-right or far-right or whatever the terminology was at the time. And Patreon said, well, it wasn't us who wanted to ban them. It was Mastercard. Mastercard came to us and said, you cannot accept Mastercard anymore unless you ban these people. Payment processors pretend like they're all innocent, but they are not. Here's what's happening on, both the left and the right are actually coming together on this. You see this gross Anna Valence person. Good morning. Did you call your local censorious payment processor and let them know that you're upset with them bullying Steam and itch.io? No better time than the present. Here's all their numbers, their contact forms. Through it all, gamers are telling one another to remain cordial during interactions with the payment processors, especially when dealing with low-level workers who are just trying to do their job. For executives, the purpose of maintaining a considerate tone is to help the people in power take the issue seriously. Yeah, this is something I talked about when I gave people a phone script. I gave people a script, I gave people the phone numbers, and I said, explicitly, you have to be polite. If you're calling there and you're spurging out, or you're calling them names, or you're cursing, it is incredibly easy for these executives then to not take you seriously. The strategy is impressive in its depth and breadth of execution. While some charge it with an activist bent, others say they're pretending to be confused customers who want to know why they can't use their Visa or MasterCard to buy their favorite video games. Meanwhile, Collective Shout, the organization who originally complained to Steam, Visa, and MasterCard for these games featuring types of activity, has also recently put out a statement of its own alongside the timeline of events. We raised an objection to these type of spicy games and they ignored us for a month. We approached the payment processors because Steam did not respond to us. Collective Shout has gotten many games de-indexed. In another popular Reddit thread, users say the customer service representatives are shifting from confusion to reiterating that their concerns are being, quote, heard. I will be calling them again in a few days to see if there's any progress. Perhaps a different comment in a thread summarizes the ordeal best. There's really only two things that unite gamers: hate campaigns and gooning. Yeah, that's probably true. But here's the thing. Visa and Mastercard stocks have slipped. It's actually working. Visa and Mastercard shares were down Tuesday as the payment processors companies face backlash from gamers. This is something, by the way, if you're a gamer, you could get an American Express card and explicitly not use a Visa or MasterCard. PayPal, different, some of these, places take payment, other alternatives to crypto. Steam, let me check, Steam payments. They take American Express and Discover. They also take PayPal. Other payments may include Skrill, WebMoney, and other things, depending on your country. You have a lot of options to not use a Visa and MasterCard. Get an American Express. I mean, everyone gets accepted for a Discover card. It's practically a meme. Pick yourself up a Discover card and, use that to pay. And then call Visa and MasterCard and explicitly tell them that, hey, I'm using my Discover card now for all of my purchases, which are, thousands of dollars a year in video games. People are putting this out, anti-censorship cheat sheet. Bombard them with phone calls, Visa, MasterCard, Stripe, PayPal, talking points to hit. Try to hit all 4 targets per day. This is a marathon, not a sprint. This is great. I absolutely support this, and I think gamers should keep it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like on it. Remember, promo code TheQuartering over at metapcs.com if you're in the market for a new PC, and we'll talk to you again real soon.